Well, hello everybody. It's Mr. Robbie here, and it is now, well, it will be day 3 of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, and I am in Switzerland, and I'm about maybe 7 or 8 hours ahead of Chicago, so I don't watch the clips or the videos or the streaming in real time. But yesterday I spent about 6 or 7 hours watching the first night videos, and so that's why I didn't have any new video to put out yesterday. But today I've got a little bit smarter. I'm going to go through the clips that I find and not watch the entire convention again. So this is the first one that I'm doing right now. It's a good one, I think. I think people are going to really find this very interesting. Uh, First of all, I got a question from one of the members in our community area, Terry 7271, Terry Andrews 7271. And he is at, now this was the message he wrote on the photo here. Evangelicals for Harris targets Trump as false prophet in powerful new ad. And most of you have seen that already. But his question is, how far do you have to go? How far gone do you have to be to know that this guy is no good, a liar, and a thief? And I replied, with my own opinion, just off the tip of my tongue. I wrote, it could be when they cut the cable cord and only get news from Facebook or Untruth Social, and they're drinking too much Kool-Aid and Diet Mountain Dew because we know J.D. Vance thinks that we think Diet Mountain Dew is racist. Anyway, then they start buying NFTs and the sneakers, and they've got too much time and money invested in the shiny things. So that was a good question. And now this video I want to show you is a former insider of the Trump campaign and administration. I guess she worked for him for 6 years, and now she's out. She's got somebody must have done an intervention on her, because now her mind is clear and she knows what the hell happened to her. And I want to show this video to you because I think she knows the secret about why he is so popular. So let's take a look at this video now from MSNBC. And I just want to say sorry about the audio. It is very noisy there. I did my best in cleaning it up so you could hear better what she's saying.
I want to bring in Stephanie Grisham, who we all just saw and heard on stage, former aide in the Trump White House, working with the First Lady, the then First Lady Melania Trump. I wrote down what you said, Stephanie, and I want to read it back to you because I tried to get my phone fast enough to record it because this is some truth telling. You said behind the scenes, Donald Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers. Wow.
He calls you morons out there basement dwellers. That's what he thinks of you. You are basement dwellers. That's what he thinks.
Yeah. Say more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just true, and I felt like, I spent 6 years with him, and I really did believe in him at the beginning, and I really wanted people to know what he's like behind the cameras, because it's all he cares about is when he's in front of the cameras. And so if I can reach any independents out there, or
all he cares about is what he's doing in front of the cameras. Anything else, we know he doesn't care about anybody else. But she's telling us that all he cares about is what happens in front of the cameras. Let's listen some more.
Republicans out there to understand that I get it. I get what it was like to believe in him. I get it. But I just want people to know that this is who he really is behind the scenes.
And what was compelling? I mean, I've talked to people, Republicans who, like you, believed in Donald Trump, and one person was just honest with me and said they liked the fact that he was a celebrity, and they felt the Democrats always had the celebrities, and they liked that he was famous. And what was it that made him compelling to you initially?
So I joined the campaign 2 weeks after he came down that escalator, and it was because I just worked at one of his rallies as a favor to somebody, and the way the crowd reacted to him, and the way that he spoke so plainly, he didn't use just the political.
He wants to be a celebrity, and that's what they think. The Democrats always had celebrities, so they wanted a celebrity of their own. That's what she's talking about right here.
Jargon that everybody used.
He was a politician.
Yeah, he was like a breath of fresh air, which really makes me sad to say that right now. But at the time,
a breath of fresh air. Well, if you remember the 2016, 15, 16, when he got on the political stage, maybe what she's saying is kind of true. A breath of fresh air. He didn't know anything about politics. He still doesn't know anything about politics, but they don't care. They got a celebrity now.
And then I just kept going, and I kept seeing the people's reaction to him, and I thought, well, maybe if we can smooth out his kinks. Yeah.
There were a lot of kinks. I mean, and you talked about your disillusionment. Obviously, January 6th was a big part of that.
Yes.
But for you, and because there's so many Republicans that are here. I mean, I just spoke with the mayor of Mesa, Arizona. He's a whole Republican.
It's my home state.
Yeah. And people are being welcomed so warmly here. There's not any judgment here. This is like, come to the cookout, right? Come to the party.
This is actually very true. I think that the Democratic Party has always been welcoming to anybody, but we know the Republican and Trump, he's been saying for 4, 5, 6 years, it's us against them. We won or we lost or whatever it was, talking to the basement-dwelling morons. Here we see there is a Republican woman, or maybe she's former Republican, I don't know, but they're talking about that there are other Republicans there who are against Trump, and they're welcomed there. What does Trump do? He doesn't want Democrats' votes. He doesn't want women's votes. He doesn't want Nikki Haley's voters' votes. He said, I don't need your votes. I don't want your votes. Don't come here. I don't need your votes. I got enough votes.
So
how does that feel for you?
I don't understand it, because for me the last 4 years since I've been out of office it's just been hate and hate and hate coming at me, but also just watching him as a citizen, and it's just nothing's good without me. The country's terrible, everything's bad, but only I can fix it. And so this is just, it's joyful. Of course, that's a word everyone's using, but it's really unifying, and I believe that the Democrats here are understanding that we've got to come together, and we're not.
She's actually telling the truth. Let's let's go back to that, what she said about joyful. Yes, we are hearing that a lot. Joyful. They brought the joy back to politics, to the Democratic Party, to the conventions. I'll just tell you personally, when I have heard some of these speeches, and when I heard the announcement when Kamala nominated him or chose him, that big speech a week or two ago, I had lots of tears in my eyes. It was joyful. Everybody was happy, very, very, very happy. And I had tears of joy. It's just a happy time right now in this party.
Not going to agree on policies, period, probably.
Yeah.
But we've got to talk to each other like humans again.
Yeah. And Claire, look, I met a guy last night when we got back to the hotel who talked about the idea of this as a family reunion. And then we just heard Jamie Harrison use that same language. Because a family is full of people who think all sorts of different things, may feel different ways, but they all get along and love each other. The family reunion theme definitely feels like the vibe right now.
Yeah, because we all have somebody in our family that sometimes we want to strangle them them, right? Because we disagree with them.
But we're not going to actually do it.
Right. But on the other hand, at least I'm so glad you feel what I think is sincere in the Democratic Party, and that is we can go from Bernie and AOC to Joe Manchin. We really can. And even though there are times we get really frustrated with Joe Manchin.
Absolutely right. You can go from one to another and you still may have problems, but it's a unified party is what it is. Republicans are not unified. We know that. We can see that. Look at all of the Republicans against Trump that are coming out finally. Well, at least in the past few months, but now even more recently. In the Democratic Party, people have their differences, but they work them out. That's what, family. Well, I'm not going to talk about family. I'll let them talk about family, but that's what the party is about, I think.
We can, and the idea that we are trying to reach out, I do not for the life of me understand why Donald Trump has never seen the need to reach out to people. I mean, he never really asked the Haley voters to support him. He never really asked the DeSantis voters to support him, and
that's exactly what I just said before. He doesn't care. He doesn't want anybody's leftovers, I guess you can call them.
His own party, much less asking Democrats who, to come to his side. What is that about his psyche that he is unwilling to ask people to join his
Because
movement?
he doesn't think he needs anybody. He wants to be an elected king. He wants to be, an autocratic government where everything he says goes and everyone falls in line, whether it's in Congress, in the DOJ, as we know.
He wants to be an elected king, in case you missed that. That's what he wants. She knows him. She knows him for years and years. She worked with him. So you really have to listen to what she has to say. If you're sitting on the fence or if you're MAGA, listen to her. She was one of you.
The military, he doesn't want to have people join him. He wants people to just do what he says.
Yeah.
And again, that was something I watched him evolve into, I have to say. I don't know in the beginning he even had that way of thinking, but I watched him evolve as he learned about the power he had. And I watched it just happen over time. And at the end, he became just a tyrant. And truly, it was just, don't question me. We're just going to do what I want to do. And,
Can you talk about the outreach that the Harris Walls team made to you? And kind of what was that process like? What brought you in the door?
Well, I had been talking to some people prior to Biden stepping down about the possibility of endorsing him. I knew that as somebody who had been around Trump for so long again, that I probably had a good voice and could speak out, and I wanted it to be impactful, though. So finally, when the Republicans for Harris came to me and they asked me if I would be involved, I jumped at the chance, and everybody I worked with on the campaign has been fantastic and welcoming, and it's just such a breath of fresh air having worked in a campaign and in an administration that I worked in before, and it's truly been wonderful.
I mean, for people,
it must be, for this lady, it's like night and day. It must have been coming out of the darkness of Trump and being welcomed into the Democratic Party, or at least the convention, and endorsing Biden, like she said, and then now endorsing Kamala. It must have been like going from inside a dark tunnel, and finally she sees the light at the end and she steps out.
who feel uncomfortable as you did with Donald Trump and the way that he behaves. And by the way, we've talked about this. We can tell that he has contempt for his supporters. Like, I think anyone watching can tell that he does not have a great deal of respect for his followers.
No.
But when somebody comes to that realization, what does that conversation look like? To say it's okay to, you don't have to vote for him. You can vote the other way.
It's hard. It's hard to admit you were wrong. It's hard to admit you were so wrong. And so I try to say that to people, like, look, I get it. I understand, but I'm telling you what he's like. And look, go behind that voting booth. It's a private place. and vote your conscience. And I really believe a lot of people, especially Republican women, are going to vote for Kamala.
Vote your conscience. That's what. Absolutely, absolutely. Vote your conscience. Even if you're MAGA and you think there's something wrong with the divisiveness that Trump brings, vote your conscience.
But maybe not tell their husband.
You know what?
I really believe that.
And I think your courage, and make no mistake about this, everybody needs to understand that what you're doing is courageous.
Yeah.
You will get loads of hate from lots of places, and it will be very, very hard. So kudos to you and your bravery. But your bravery allows people that maybe aren't so brave to quietly, like you said, go in the voting booth and say, well, you know, if Stephanie Grisham, who is that close to him,
It's private
That's
back there.
I could do this in my own private little voting booth.
I
could
really
vote for
believe that's
something
going to
other
happen.
than
I think
Donald Trump.
she's got the silent vote this time. I
Yeah.
really believe she'll have it.
And do you think that, because to me, I feel like Dobbs changed so much that it fundamentally changed the equation for people who might have thought they had the luxury to stick with Trump before, especially women and any man who cares about women.
Yep.
Do you feel that it was profound in that way, that Dobbs changed things?
Absolutely. And I tell you what, I live in Kansas now, in a very small town in Kansas, and Kansas overturned.
If you don't know what Dobbs is, what she's talking about, Dobbs was the ruling that the Supreme Court made 2 years ago about getting rid of Roe versus Wade. And so they're talking about, do you think that's going to influence women especially to vote more for Kamala Harris than for Trump? And I think they will. I really do think they will, because women and people want control of their own lives, their own personal private lives, their own bodies, their personal private bodies, and make the decisions that they need to make on their own.
They voted to have women's choice be put back into the state constitution, and to see that in such a conservative state was really interesting. And I think that was a big deal. I think absolutely you're right. Like, I think women across the country realize their very freedoms were going to be taken away. And I think the Harris campaign has been brilliant at bringing in people who talk about, it's not like they're using abortion as a birth control necessarily. I think that yesterday the speaker was absolutely important, and I think that it just shows how short-sighted and short-minded and misogynistic, frankly, Trump and Vance both are.
Okay, that was the video, and we just got a little bit look at the audience out there having a good time. Look at that. And a young guy in a rainbow boa. You're not going to see that at a Republican convention or anywhere at a Trump rally. Never going to see that. So, listen, I hope this was an enlightening video to listen to this woman who knows Trump for years. She worked closely with him. And she has the truth. She knows the truth. She's got out of the darkness. And if you're MAGA, please listen to her. Find out more about who she is and listen to her. She's telling you the truth. Don't take it from me. Take it from her. She was there. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to have more videos as soon as possible. Like I said, I'm not going to be watching the entire 6 or 7 hours, but I do again want to thank Terry Andrews, 7271, for that great question. And I hope that this also answered your question, Terry. So thanks again for that. And like I always say, you'll see me later.